afternoon, everybody. It's game day. CanesInSight live from the Licking Miami Gardens. I'm Peter Ariz alongside D Money, and the wait is over, baby. It's game day. We're right down the street from Hard Rock Stadium, hanging out here. Miami-Notre Dame pregame at the Licking. We're back here in the VIP room. We're going to be streaming the rest of the afternoon here. I know a lot of you guys are going to want to go tailgate, but come by over here and hang out with us. Like I said, we're going to be streaming. We're going to be then taking, a break to talk to you guys who are coming out here. But if you don't see us when you walk in the restaurant, we're back here in the VIP room. So when we're off our stream live, we will come out there and hang out with you guys as well. But again, man, appreciate the Licking for setting this up. E-Class, the whole team was out here yesterday with Bryant McKinney. That was awesome, D, and excited to get into some of this food in a little bit, man.
Yeah, man, that's the Miami Gardens location. So address, let's give it to him.
I got it right here. It's on the ticker on the bottom.
Oh, you got the ticker? Oh,
17647 Northwest 27th Ave, Miami Gardens, Florida 33056.
Let's go, baby. Fire it up.
No noon game, man. We're here. We hope that there was a noon game, but we got a game at 3:00. So we got South Carolina and Virginia Tech at 3D. But I'm fired up, man. We got already 200 in here a minute into the stream. So
I'm fired up. Watched a lot of college football yesterday, so we are rocking and rolling. A lot of things we learned yesterday, at least that I think we might have learned yesterday, that could give us some clues about how today's going to go. Very interesting day of college football. So I think really, even before we get into the Miami-Notre Dame, because we're going to be streaming for hours, so we got a lot of time to talk Miami-Notre Dame specifically. But I think some of the games yesterday, some of the themes yesterday really told the story of how it might go today. A couple of things, really defensive overall. I think the defense was kind of the name of the game. I would say running and stopping the run. If you don't run and you don't stop the run, I don't care what era of college football this is, you're in trouble. Look at Alabama, right? Let's start right there because that's the game everybody's talking about with FSU. And look, FSU's improved. We knew they'd improve. I don't think they're that good. I think it's more about Alabama. I think we're going to stomp FSU. But when it comes to Alabama, for years, some of the quarterbacks were great, like Tua. Some of them were just guys. Sometimes they had 7 great receivers. Sometimes they just had one guy they would feed it to and they would run the ball. They always ran the ball when the other team knew they were going to run and still were able to run it with physicality, big running backs, and they always stopped the run. Yesterday, they got outrushed by about, almost 200 yards by FSU. I mean, it was a bloodbath running the football. And that, to me, is why Kalen DeBoer, West Coast, throws the ball, that looks good. Everybody gets excited. If you can't run the ball and you cannot stop the run, you are going to get pulverized. That dynasty from Alabama, which was so boring and so awesome for so many years, now got the best receiver core in the SEC, I would say, at least right there, right with Bernard. Isaiah Horton didn't do much yesterday. You hope he can get going. But obviously Ryan Williams, they got receivers, but they could not run the ball and they could not stop the run. So your team like Miami, as we get ready to talk about Notre Dame, Miami, who can run the ball and who can stop the run, or is hoping to be able to stop the run, I think you're seeing why that's so important, that old school football, when you see a game like FSU, Alabama, and really, to me, the downfall of Alabama football.
Yeah, I was here with Brian McKinney watching it, and we both couldn't believe it at just how quickly it seemed like the roster has flipped on the Alabama standpoint. I mean, listen, I still think, as much as I know you're not going to want to do it, but I'll give FSU some credit for what I saw yesterday. But at the same time, Alabama, it was staggering how not just the bodies up front, but the speed. I think both sides of the ball, but defensively, like just flying to the ball. And here we go. We're live here at the Licking, man. Starting to get some people coming in here. So appreciate everyone who's going to be making their way down to the Licking here, Miami Gardens. But yeah, D, that was the biggest thing. It was really that part of the Alabama roster that, we can talk about coaching Kalen DeBoer. It's not that the guy forgot how to coach the game of football. He was just at Washington. We can talk about the fit and all that. But I just don't see the same type of bodies up there, man.
And think about when Washington was good in the championship. They didn't run the ball that well. They didn't stop the run that well. They had 3 NFL receivers, including a top 10 pick, and then they had Michael Penix, the best quarterback in the country, in my opinion, that year, or at least one of them. So that's what they were about. It's not like they were able to stop the run and run the ball. So I think you get a guy like that, you take it in Alabama, and you lose sight of the fundamentals of football and college football in particular. Just pulling up the stats. Alabama threw the ball 43 times. They ran for 87 yards. FSU, who threw the ball 14 times, ran for 236 yards. You're not going to win like that. And kind of switching gears to Clemson LSU, which relevant game to Miami, potential ACC championship opponent. We talked about Clemson all offseason, and those who listen to the show know. I said, listen, Clemson's got a lot of good front-line players. They look a little small to me, and they look a little weak as far as stopping the run. They were 90th in the country last year in yards per rush against. Flash forward to this game. It's a defensive struggle, 17-10. It wasn't like a high-flying affair necessarily, but when you look at the rushing stats of this game, LSU, 110 rushing yards. Not a dynamic rushing performance, but you flip to Clemson, 32 rushing yards. So you get outrushed by almost 4 times LSU to Clemson. So you have 3 great receivers, you got a quarterback on the cover of every magazine. You can't run the football. You can't stop the run. You are not going to win. So again, if we get towards Miami versus Notre Dame, I think you're seeing the theme develop. Both of these teams pride themselves on their ability to run the ball. Miami last year was actually decent stopping the run for how bad their defense was. It was, I think, 40th in the country around there, top 40 in most of the rushing-related categories. Notre Dame obviously great at both. So Miami's going to need to get that run defense to an even higher level in this game. But part of it, Pete, is the passing game of Notre Dame and how much you have to commit to stopping that. And I think what we saw yesterday, too, freshman quarterbacks, first-time quarterbacks had a tough time.
Yeah, and you didn't even have the comment pulled up. You didn't see it, but Green Tree K9, appreciate your support, saying all the young quarterbacks making debuts looked like deer in headlights, Canes by a trillion. So, yeah, that's I think what I was most interested in seeing yesterday. Obviously, it's week 1, so you would expect a lot of these guys to get more comfortable as the season goes. I don't think some of these guys are as bad as they maybe looked yesterday. Yeah. I think they'll open up and break out of it, but that's not what this game is about. This is a one-game situation that CJ Carr is stepping into here. So I don't really care what he looks like game 7, game 8. I'm worried about tonight, and I think that obviously plays in Miami's favor. AZ asking where I got the shirt at. This is an Ibis Vintage right here. So I don't know if they're gonna have this one exactly, but hit up Ibis Vintage for your vintage Canes looks. Don Vaughn says Cal freshman quarterback looked good.
That was the best. We talked about before the show. That's the best quarterback I saw that whole day. I know it's the first game, but look, Oregon State at Oregon State, when you're Cal and you lost a ton of players, it's a pretty even talent matchup. And he looked dominant. We liked him in high school. He's the all-time leading passer in Hawaii. Was really a highly rated player. Was going to go to Oregon, but they had a quarterback crunch. He went to Cal. You want to talk about potential guys to keep an eye on in the portal? That's that between him and CJ Bailey, and he's got 2 years of eligibility after this one. Those are names I got circled in Sharpie because he looked like Tua, quite frankly, but a stronger arm Tua. Not saying he's going to be that good. I'm saying he broke all Tua's records. I'm saying he's a lefty quarterback from Hawaii. I'm saying, the arm has got probably more juice. I'm just saying that you're going to hear that comparison a lot. By the way, we got a bunch of people here in the room, so shout out. Hey, where are you from? Give your names and where you're from so we can shout you out here.
Jonathan, Orlando.
We got Jonathan from Orlando here. We got Brad from Gainesville, I already know. Eric Sanford, Florida.
E. Sanford.
E from Sanford. Let's go. So we're filling in here.
305. You already know what it is.
We got Central Florida, North Central Florida representing here at the Lickin' in Miami Gardens, and it's just getting started, man. We just tuned in, and I'm telling you.
Got 600 on the stream live right now, so appreciate your support already. But
we'll fill out some surveys once these guys get served. I'm telling you, the food out here is unbelievable. The Lickin', man, really impressed by their operation right there next to the stadium. So we are all in business here.
Someone said that the Knicks said that the Ohio State quarterback did a good job of game management, Julian Sand.
I was not impressed with him personally. I'm a hater maybe because I said a text. I said, this guy's not getting drafted. I just don't see a lot of ability with Sand. He did manage the game fine, but he was at home. He has 2 first-round receivers. He's got a pretty good situation, but I agree that he did what he needed to do to win. You got to give him the respect on the win. So going to that game, and I was wrong about that game because I thought Texas was going to win. I maybe I underestimated the road element. I thought Arch would play better than he did. But I'm not down on Arch. Pete, I want to get your take on this because I don't lead that game down on Arch. First game, he had his moments. If you ask me who would I rather have, Arch or Julian Sand after watching that game, knowing that Julian Sand won the game, I'm taking Arch 100 out of 100 times. I just think he's got a lot more talent. I think by the end of the year, really, if you look at that game, Texas had 2 fourth down stands in the deep red zone, basically on the goal line, that they could have had some turnovers. So I think Texas, I am more bullish on Arch leaving that game than maybe others. I just see size. I see athletic ability. I think he's going to work on the things he needs to work on. Some of those throws in the dirt, like that's really not what he's doing on a regular basis in practice, I'm sure.
Yeah, those were the ones that look bad. But to what you're saying, he also ripped some. That throw to the tight end, heck of a catch on the last drive there. Even the touchdown throw was a nice catch, but the ball couldn't have been placed any better there. But I just, I also think they kind of protected him. It's game one. They didn't have. I think his legs are a lot more of a factor than they showed yesterday. But they only had a handful of designed run plays for him. So I think you get into the later part of the season in a must-win game, he's probably going to be running it closer to double-digit times. That's my guess. So yeah, I think the physical tools are still evident there, but man, especially that first drive, he had an awful throw. That even the last drive, he had a really bad overthrow. I mean, it was just the ones that were. I mean, these were big chunk plays potentially, so it was a missed opportunity there. But yeah, I think he'll clean some of that stuff up.
Yeah, and you look at Ohio State's defense. I think that was one of my takeaways, Pete, was their defense. They lost a lot of guys, and they reloaded pretty well. There's some names that I have like a running list of guys that just popped to write down. Arvell Reese, number 8 for Ohio State. He was like a defensive end / linebacker. Didn't really play that much last year. I thought he looked better than any of the guys they had last year at that position. I mean, I thought he was incredible. I was really blown away by number 8, Arvell Reese. I think he'll be one. If he plays like that all year, he'll be one of the stars of college football. Sonny Styles, number 0 linebacker.
Yes.
Who we knew going in, he's their team captain, really athletic kind of safety linebacker guy, but he's on the right trajectory. He'll be a first-round pick with the way he's going. Number 7, Matthews, the defensive back. That guy was everywhere. So they had guys, man. It's Ohio State. They're going to recruit well. People were watching to see how are they going to replace all the guys they lost. I thought their defense, to me, was the story of the game. And if I'm concerned with them going forward, again, they did not really deserve to win this game offensively. Their offense, they managed the game better than Arch maybe with the turnovers. But if you look at the production, what'd they get? 215 total yards. Good defense, obviously, but 215 total yards at home. You have Jeremiah Smith. You have Carnell Tate. You have all that. I'm not that sold on the Ohio State offense yet against playoff teams. They'll go against, these Big Ten kind of mediocre type teams and put up 50. I'm not saying they're not going to do that. But against the real good playoff teams, I think they're going to be missing a little bit of juice at quarterback. I could be wrong. But that's my instant takeaway on Ohio State.
Nick says LSU look good. I was talking to Jonathan about that before the show, man. I actually said yesterday on the stream with Big Mac that I thought LSU was going to win that game. But still, if you're Clemson, that's a home game. You're going in there with both teams had an experienced quarterback, but a lot of expectations on this year. That's probably a disappointing loss if you're in their shoes.
Yeah, no doubt about it at home. But yeah, LSU, I think they ran the ball better than they did last year.
Blake Baker had a good little game plan.
Great game plan from Blake Baker. They've renovated their defense a lot. When I rip on the Gators for losing players in the portal, look at LSU's defense yesterday, which was outstanding. Number 44, Jack Pyburn. That's a former Gator. That guy was a very important player for LSU yesterday. Their starting corner, what's his name? Jacoby Jackson. They'll get the kid from Pahokee. No, sorry, from Pahokee, from Orlando area. He played really well. So they got guys, man. DJ Pickett, outstanding. What's the guy? I think Jackson was actually the third corner because the number 2 was Delane.
Mansour Delane looked amazing.
Number 4 was great.
That's Virginia Tech kid, right?
Yeah, he was great. Great. So they've really renovated that defense with what they brought in from the portal. And yeah, man. Go ahead, Pete.
No, I mean, go ahead. You had a thought on the game or something, but this is another question I thought was interesting. But go, what were you going to say?
No, Eddie Delva was saying it seems like a few teams went for it on 4th and plus. Thoughts? Yes, analytics and just kind of like newer, younger coaches. I see us going for it on 4th down. Just because we did it last year quite a bit. I think this year you talk about the ability to run the ball when they don't want you to run it. We had that ability last year, at least with Mark Fletcher, with Damian Martinez. We still have Fletcher, Lyles in there. Marty Brown. We got guys that can run with physicality. Carson Beck could sneak it too, although, I don't know after the elbow if he wants to be doing too much sneaking, but he can do it. So I could see us being a 4th down kind of team. We'll find out here. Hopefully we're not in too many 4th down situations, but I could see us going for some of those. I think one takeaway as we get back to the Miami side of things, I did not see a lot of great quarterback play that you say, wow, in my opinion. Klubnik was hit or miss. Nussmeier had some good plays. Also didn't have, he had some moments of dry spells, but he did play pretty well. Nussmeier, let's put him at stagnant. The young guys struggled. DJ Lagway didn't really have competition. We know he's very talented.
I'm gonna stop you real quick. Can you give me the remote so I can make sure we get we have the dog competition. It's switched. I want to make sure that we got something on TV. We got U.S. Open right now. You're right. It's unbelievable. What a missed opportunity. What is going on right now that they wouldn't have a game in this time slot? It's kind of infuriating.
Couldn't we get
I'm not gonna subject everyone into golf in here. I would be watching the European tour, but I don't know. I guess we'll have some preseason football on while we wait for something.
Shout out to my guy James. I met him yesterday at the Hard Rock. This guy is the golf coach for various football players across the country, NFL guys on our team, the Malinois. He's with the Malinois right now. He's a huge Canes fan. He's from Virginia. So shout out to James, man. P, you've been electrified if you had this conversation. We're gonna bring him on the podcast. This guy was pulling up swing. I mean, this was a swing.
So he's a virtual swing coach.
He goes in person. He flies across the country.
Oh, but so he comes and sees them.
Oh yeah, he flies and he goes to all his NFL clients across the country.
Wow, what's his name?
Guy James. We're gonna bring him on the podcast. Okay. We'll bring him on the podcast. I got his number, so shout out to James.
Wow, this is right up my alley, man.
Yeah, I know you would have gone crazy yesterday. Darren Mensah, he played good. Yeah, there were some good guys.
I'm. You know what? I'm wrong. There's a big soccer match, but again, I don't want. I feel like that's not really.
Put whatever you want.
Soccer on. Actually, it's better than tennis to me.
There's only one game that matters today, and we'll talk about that.
Liverpool, Arsenal, though. Yes.
No, but with the quarterbacks, I think if you're Carson Beck, you look at the quarterbacks across the country and how they played. If Carson Beck goes out there and throws 3 touchdowns or just plays really well against Notre Dame, how it plays like he's capable of playing, manages the game, but also makes some plays. I could see us coming out of this weekend, not us, but the national, saying, is Carson Beck the best quarterback in the country? Because, we'll see Lenore Sellers here. He's one of my guys that I really believe in. I'm a huge Lenore Sellers fan. A lot of guys played cupcakes. You couldn't tell too much. But the guys that played in the big games, no one had like a Cam Ward against Florida last year type of game, right? Nussmeier played well in times, but it's not like that was not like Cam last year. Obviously, Klubnik didn't play that well. The young guys didn't play that well. So if we're talking about that big showcase game, could this be that game for Carson Beck? Does it matter? We're just trying to get the win. I'm sure Carson Beck would rather win and throw for 100 yards and have some big game and lose. Well, obviously, we want to have a big game and win. But just in general, I could seeing all these quarterbacks. I don't see anybody that I'm like, wow, man, I would trade our quarterback situation for this year for theirs in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's tough to say after yesterday. Rock and Rant, I'm going to try my best to read as much of the comments as possible. He said, absolutely loathe those leprechaun blank. Canes got to send them back to South Bend over, thinking that 2017 was a nice visit. Go Canes.
Let's see what we got here. Charles King says, Vernell Brown's the real deal. I agree. We're big Vernell Brown fans. Dallas Wilson got the hype. And look, he could have a huge year. In my opinion, I know, P, you agree. Vernell Brown's the one that really we missed out on that's going to be good for UF, in my opinion. I know we got some Sanford, Orlando folk in the house, so they know about how this guy gets down. Central Florida, really producing a lot of talent. Miami talent as well. Central Florida's on a nice little run right now. Miami's doing a lot of work in that Orlando area. So that was one that we might regret. He made an unbelievable catch. The competition wasn't there, but he was there.
Martin Dubé says, final thoughts. Notre Dame only played 2 top-level quarterbacks, Tyler Shuck, Louisville, Will Howard at Ohio State. The former gave Notre Dame a hard time. The latter beat them soundly.
Is he wrong?
Martin always has the great observations, man, I got to say.
That's, again, Gunnar Stockton, I guess he played pretty good against Marshall yesterday. I would agree with you, Martin. I would not consider Gunnar Stockton a top-level quarterback.
Again, guys, we're here at the Licking Miami Gardens. We'll be here probably until about 5:30 or so. And listen, we're back here in the VIP room right now. If you get to the restaurant, you don't see us, we're going to be stopping the stream and going out there and seeing everyone, who makes it out their way here before you head over to the stadium. So we will we'll make it out there. But this is hour one here of the Canes Insight Live pregame show. And this is something new, D. We've done like morning shows before, obviously, but the pregame thing, this is a different vibe for us. So I'm excited for it.
No, man, it's about lunchtime. So we got to start serving some food out here. Get to the showtime.
I got to say, I got to make a statement real quick.
Make a statement.
Trenton Breeze, he stepped out of the comfort zone and picked Notre Dame for this one. I gotta say it's an interesting move. Some would say it's a lose-lose situation. To not pick the Canes game one, Trenton. I know you're in the comments right now. That's a tough one, my brother.
I respect the boldness,
but I do respect it.
Trenton Breeze, man. You think he's going to go one way, he goes the other. You can't put your finger on Trenton Breeze, man. I like it. Keep him guessing. I'm with it. I mean, I'm not with the prediction. I think we're going to win, but I'm with the boldness. Giovanni Foster saying Tony over Brown, Malachi Tony over Noah Brown. I think both guys come from a very similar cloth mentally. But yeah, man, Malachi Tony, we're going to see today. You guys know how I feel about his ability and what he brings to the table. He was at the Licking last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was told. So he's a Licking, a fan of the Licking.
Here we go. Grizz saying Noah over Caden Proctor. It ain't even close. We saw Caden Proctor get bullied by an FSU front that did nothing last year. Some true freshmen out there, actually guys from this area, from Norland, that we didn't recruit, the Desir twins. So I like those guys. They were big physical guys coming out of high school, but not guys that should be beating up on.
So you weren't impressed one bit by what we saw from FSU?
No, I knew they were going to improve. Do I think they're going to be like a 10-win team or a 9-win team? I don't. I think they'll be still like maybe they'll be 7-5 instead of 5-7. But I was more. I mean, how's Caden Proctor? Caden Proctor, look, the last time we saw Caden Proctor was against Michigan, and he was getting abused pretty good. That was the bowl game. All summer, because of his body, because of his athletic ability, projected as top 10 pick. And I understood that. There's only so many guys that had those traits, so I get why those guys are projected high. A lot of people projected him over Noah. That was his last game against Michigan, gets smoked. First game here gets smoked. So Caden Proctor, to me, the stock is down. Like Riz says in the comments, I would say of the guys I saw yesterday, and there's a great tackle group. The two guys from Utah. We'll talk about Utah in a second. I think Utah's, to me, my playoff pick right now from the Big 12.
Good. Devin Dampier is legit.
Yeah, I will never give Castellanos his props. I will, because I don't
That's
want
what a comment says.
I'm not trying to get excited now when the guy looks like crap and I have to retrace my steps again. I know what this guy's going to look like over a 12-game season. He's garbage, so just wait. A good job by the coaching staff to get him ready to play this game. As far as the offensive tackle situation, we'll see Noah tonight. We're going to have a lot to show. Caden Proctor, down. I thought Utah with Devin Dampier. I think that's my Big 12 playoff pick. I love Utah. They got two great tackles, first-round tackles, left and right. Probably one of the best offensive lines in college football all around. So they got experience in the interior. Really impressed with them. But both tackles, first round, look better than Proctor. Chaplin from Auburn, the Virginia Tech transfer, awesome. And then Noah we'll see today. So, yeah, that Alabama, I know this is not an Alabama podcast, but that's kind of the story of the day, at least yesterday, is how bad they look. It's amazing.
Hassan says, Pete, how could you be impressed with FSU? They ran the same 4 or 5 plays all night, run left, run right. But it is interesting, D. I think that's going to be – Jonathan and I were talking about before. It's almost like the Georgia Tech offense. And, we had a coach tell us – I had a coach tell me earlier this week that Malzahn's offense is like the wing T in the shotgun.
Yep.
So that's it's something you have to prepare for that week. It's way different than what you're going to see. So yeah, it is a very similar looking thing that they're doing there. But those are there's a lot of stuff there that's tricky to the eye. So,
and let me just say another theme, Pete, from yesterday and the day before. We talk about the passing offenses. Really, no one's really throwing the ball that well. No one's in sync. Now we're talking about first game of the year. I think that's important to keep all these things. It's the first game of the year with the playoffs now, which I hate the playoff, but it is what it is. It's a long season. This week one should mean more than it actually does mean because this playoff kind of cheapened it a little bit, but it is what it is. The passing offenses were all dicey. Not in sync. You didn't have Ryan Williams didn't do anything. Jeremiah Smith didn't do anything. Those Clemson receivers didn't do anything. Guys that we know are good. It's just hard to sync all the pieces up. What did we see though when teams were successful on offense? Their running quarterbacks were actually the ones that were very effective. Talk about Jackson Arnold for Auburn. Talk about
Look good.
Castellanos, right? You talk about Haynes King for Georgia Tech, Dampier for Utah. The running quarterbacks, I'm talking not guys that can run for a first down. The guys that are going to run for like 100+ yards in a game, and they are run-first quarterbacks or at least 50-50 quarterbacks. Those were the guys in week 1, I think, that had a lot of success because they were able to – you don't have to worry about being timed up and synced up with your receivers and everything else. That takes some time. These were guys who were just doing what they do, running the football, playing instinctive, offensive line, run blocking, which they want to do anyways. So that's something that you saw is that those type of quarterbacks had success.
You know who didn't look good was Nico in the Utah UCLA game. I was watching the game and he was just like, you know,
So overrated.
he's got, and then look, you want to say he's got the arm and he can run, but like it just you don't see any of it consistently.
Yep, he stinks.
He doesn't have the arm talent to be getting paid all that money, you know.
No, he stinks. I don't see that. I don't see that one at all. That one makes.
Hey, their Tennessee quarterback was better than him yesterday.
Yeah, so
Yeah, Joey Aguilar looked all right.
he did. We'll see the competition though. I'm still not sold. This is the guy I'm sold on. Again,
Yeah.
Saga Patelli, or I'm butchering the name. JKS.
JKS.
JKS. Shoot.
You'll take it right now.
I hope he's related to one of our dudes because he is unbelievable.
Hey, you'll take him as the backup right now.
I'll take him right now. Let's see what's going on yet. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, the dad and the agent screwed Nico up. Yeah, he had a perfect situation.
I think, yeah. I mean, look, the Tennessee system is pretty friendly to quarterbacks too, which makes you think like if Nico couldn't get it done there, then in that sort of system, then is it going to happen in UCLA? I don't see it.
Vaughn saying veteran portal quarterback era. Yeah, listen, we have to. So this is not rocket science, but I think all these games showed it. CJ Carr cannot pass on this defense. We had a terrible pass defense last year. Obviously, they saw that film. They know that everybody passed on us. We think we fixed that with some of the guys we brought in and the new defensive coordinator. We will find out. This guy cannot pass on us. When veteran quarterbacks are struggling to pass in week 1 and freshman quarterbacks are struggling to even get through the game, you cannot have a pass-first, non-mobile quarterback freshman on the road in a hostile environment tear you up. That has to be a resounding win for Miami's defense. Again, not rocket science, nothing you guys didn't already know. But now watching all these other games, I think that to me is the tell. He's got veteran receivers. That's going to help him, but that's not always going to make the difference. I mean, Wells, one of my big takeaways, which we talked about. These guys had a lot of veteran receivers that really did not get their quarterbacks in sync necessarily. You had guys that were All-Americans not catching passes. Singleton did not catch any passes. I mean, he caught a couple, but he didn't, what do you have, 20 yards?
Yeah.
Alabama's receivers, Bernard caught a ton. Ryan Williams-Horton did nothing. Jeremiah Smith, barely anything. Carnell Tate, he had the one big catch. But these guys, Tennessee's or Clemson's receivers, these guys didn't get going. It's only so much. You could have great wide receivers, but if the front's not holding up, if the quarterback's tight, doesn't mean that those great receivers are going to be producing big passing yards. It's a whole operation. I think you're seeing in week 1, sloppy operation. So with Miami, you're hoping that as a quarterback, Carson Beck, that this is going to be his 3rd opening day as a starter. The last one was against Clemson, so this is similar dynamics. His last game was against Texas in the SEC championship. So the guys, this is someone who is used to this environment, used to this type of game, used to this type of opener too. We'll see if he can come out the gates throwing, because if he can, and he's in sync where some of these other guys are not, that's going to be a huge advantage for Miami week 1. And maybe in week 12, it's not as much of an advantage because other guys have caught up. But certainly right now, you want to hit the gate strong.
Canes Cat T305 asking, who are both of you expecting to take that next step this season after what you've seen in camp? I'll go Damari Brown, man. And obviously he's the talent. I don't think has ever been a question, but the health, he's been healthy, and I think he had a really strong camp.
Yep, I like Damari Brown. You talk to some people, I think he's our best corner. I mean, not everybody, but I'm saying because we have a lot of candidates, but he's in that group. He's really, really talented. And his physicality, you're going against receivers that are 220 pounds. You're going against a running back that can break tackles. A guy that's like Damari Brown, who kind of reminds me of Vontae Davis, the late Vontae Davis, former cornerback for the Miami Dolphins. Not as fast maybe, but that physicality and that strength, he has that. He can strike and knock guys down. to me, the breakout performer, and this is, everybody says the D Money favorite players, right? The guys that I just always kind of go back to say, I'm betting on these guys. Malachi Tony, right? Lofton. Armando Blunt. I think Armando Blunt, still only 18 years old, is going to have a monster game. Ruben Bain, I think, is going to have a monster game, but that's not a breakout situation. Armando Blunt, number 18. Watch this guy. You can line him anywhere on the front. He's fast. He plays hard. He's extremely nasty. He's extremely intelligent. He's big. There's really no negative to him. I think he is going to be somebody who plays really, really, really well in this game. And I think people are going to be asking, who is this number 18 running down screens, chasing quarterbacks, blowing up tight ends? Who is this guy? Because he looks like a 5-star player. Armando Blunt, 18 years old. I think he has a big day today.
Zito's asking, depth chart out yet? You're not going to get one of those until maybe an hour, half hour before the game starts, when they're distributed to the media, and that depth chart will be worth what you got in your restroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's going to be a lot of ors, a lot of ands, and it's you're not going to really figure anything out in terms of what the reps look like there. So
the depth chart means nothing. Yeah, so ignore the depth chart. Brandon saying, D, where's your orange? Who else? Someone 727 asked, so where's my gear? Well, I'm wearing my CanesInSight shirt, which, by the way, you can get the CanesInSight gear. Just look down. You got CanesInSight gear all over the place. Shopify, you can purchase it right there. You see it on the YouTube channel right under us, or CanesInSight at Shopify. So that's one. But then I got my orange shirt in the car. I'm trying to save it. We're at the Lickin', man. The food is saucy. So I don't want to mess up my orange shirt that I'm going to wear in the game while I'm here. So I got the orange shirt. These guys are going to find out this sauce here is absolutely unreal. So you guys are going to see that here. Question about the weather. Someone's asking, how's the weather down there in the 305? I mean, driving over, it was like the best day of the year. That was perfect. I mean, sunny, hot. I like, it's hot weather right now, which I personally enjoy. Sun was out. I was blasting some classic tunes, some Thin Lizzy, some Elvis. I was rocking and rolling this morning, just trying to hype up a little bit. So it was awesome right now. We'll see. The Doppler radar says it might have a little bit of storming right by kickoff. We'll find out. It's hard to predict. This South Florida is tropical weather. This is a tropical climate. I think we're the only subtropical climate in the continental United States, so you can't really predict it, man. That's just kind of how it goes.
I will, as OC Pod is asking, will our DTs hold up 4 quarters against their run game? I will say, that Texas Ohio State game, my takeaway there was both of those interior D-lines and D-lines in general, but those interior D-lines were legit, man. Interior D-lines were super legit.
They were, but also they weren't like first rounders down the line. These are a lot of guys that were picked up in the portal for depth. It's just one of those things. I think the O-lines maybe also took a step back in that game. I would say if you look at the Texas-Ohio State game, the O-lines are still coalescing because they lost a lot of guys. Texas particular lost a ton on the offensive line. It's one area where, again, you go to Miami. We don't have a young quarterback that's figuring it out. We also don't have a new offensive line. Because you could have 5-stars on the offensive line, but if you bring them all together at once, there's going to be a gelling period. That's a coordination position. So not only do we have a very good offensive line with big bodies, guys that are studs, but they've been coached and played together for a while. They've been coached by the same guys, same system, aside from Brockermeyer, who does plug and play. So those guys came up together. Inez Cooper and Francis Malino are like this. They've been playing together forever. So I think the cohesion on the offensive line is something that you're going to see from Miami that maybe you didn't see from like a Texas, which is breaking in a lot of new guys. By the way, Pete, we're talking about cohesion. We got to talk about Anajar and Levine accident attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. So you got the weather up.
I'm setting up to get the radar up, just to get that ready, just in case. I've refused to talk weather the last week. We've been getting questions about the weather almost for 10 plus days now, and I refuse to look at it. We know how the weather here is in Florida and South Florida, so sometimes the radar doesn't even tell you what's happening. So I do have it ready just in case to start taking a look at it there, D. But yeah, I've avoided that pretty much the entire. Oh, sorry, I just saw you brought up a question. I saw Bo was asking how big of an impact will losing Riley Leonard be on the Notre Dame run game. Huge. I mean, ran for 17 touchdowns last year.
Huge, and every conversion. I think that's the biggest thing that's not being talked about is the amount of when you go back and watch Notre Dame, which I've gone back and watched Notre Dame's offense 5 or 6
I have Canes Cats Heat 305 sending me the National Weather Service radar. This is I'm doing my job here, guys.
When you go back and watch Notre Dame's games on offense, it's a Riley Leonard highlight video. Everybody remembers some of the throws that maybe he missed, which, look, Notre Dame has not thrown, period, no matter who's been at quarterback hit the last few years. But, man, he makes a lot of – he's the guy. He is their best player last year, not Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love's maybe the most outstanding player, their best pro prospect. But the best player in terms of their offense last year was Riley Leonard, throwing and running. They were a top 10 offense in the country, and he was the center of it. A very unique player, hard to replace. Also, look, those runaround quarterbacks sometimes can inflate sacks. We saw that with Cam Ward. But, I mean, Riley Leonard escaped a lot of like, blow-bys where it was like, you know, someone just was unblocked to the quarterback. And he's so strong and athletic that he was able to make a move. Same thing he did at Duke with much less talent around him. So I think they're going to miss him a ton. I do. I think that's the huge untold story. Look, everybody says, oh, about Cam Ward. Yeah, Cam Ward, we're going to miss Cam Ward a lot. I wish we had Cam Ward, but we got a pretty darn good quarterback that I feel great about who we know will make us, I don't say make us forget about Ward, but make us not miss Ward when he's out there throwing touchdowns. Whereas with Notre Dame, you're going from a extremely experienced veteran quarterback who's a starter since his redshirt freshman year to a guy who's a redshirt freshman who's never thrown a pass. That's a big difference as opposed to going from Cam Ward, you know, All-America old guy to Carson Beck All-America old guy. Different. As good as Cam Ward was, the replacement's much more similar to him than Riley Leonard's replacement is to him, at least from an experience standpoint and a mobility standpoint.
Look at this, Steve. We got the National Weather Service radar going here. Again,
this looks good right now.
We're 7 hours away from game time, so I don't think this is going to show us much. But
what's up with the easterly? The easterly winds.
Oof, I gotta start messing around with the view here to get some more of that stuff. But no, man, it's we'll keep an eye on that. It was pretty clear when we pulled in here to the Lickin'.
Oh, they shout out to my guy Chris. Big win for the Marlins yesterday. We're still watching base. So that's what I do to unwind. I was watching Marlins minor league highlights this morning just to get my mind off and unwind before I got too nervous. Howard McKinney saying Texas at Ohio State run defense was real good. Yeah, they recruit, man. Those defenses look legit. They definitely have some guys. And I think in general you're going to see too, these first games, they're flying around. So run defense, a lot of run defense is effort, which is why Alabama was so surprising because like Alabama was like jogging on some of these plays. I mean, their effort level sucked, which is crazy for the first game because typically what you'll see in the first game, you're flying around on defense. If you look at Miami's defense against Texas A&M, which we lost that game. This was Cristobal's first year. We didn't have the horses. We didn't have a good team. But even that game, we were flying around on defense. You look at Florida last year. By far, our best defensive game was against Florida. So those first games, a lot of times the defense has so much just pent-up energy that they're just playing on fire. And for all the talk about scheme and talent and all these things, sometimes energy and physicality and want to makes a big difference. It usually does, but makes even more of a difference. That first week, guys are juiced up, ready to play. So I think you're going to see both defenses, Notre Dame and Miami, flying around, making it hard to run the ball, at least early. Now we'll see as it happens late.
We got
Zoo Pride says, you guys are in my hood. Let's go. Ride through, man. The Lickin'. We're here probably till 5, man, doing recording shows. We'll probably go hour on, take a break, get some food, hang
we're
out.
like 40 minutes in now, probably go 20 more minutes or so, and then, you know, chop it up with you guys who are here, hang out with you guys. I know we got a lot of people coming. So yeah, man, Ralph says get your waterproof raincoats ready, Canes fans. Well, we call them ponchos here.
Yeah, let's go. Jimmy's son saying Bain. I think a big game for Bain. I mean, we need a big game for Bain. That goes without saying. But Bain's fired up, man. People forget Bain's got a lot of pride. You know, Bain is somebody who I would say, if you ask me to describe him, I don't know him really that well. I've been around him. I've been around his family. This is a serious dude, man. He's a serious dude about football. He's a serious dude about like his own career and like what his goals are for himself and the greatness that he expects of himself. And I think you're going to see a very, very motivated Ruben Bain. You ever see that movie Fast Times in Ridgemont High? No, you never seen that movie, Pete. But that's the kind of effort of the Forrest Whitaker guy. I forget his name, the name of the character. I think that's what you're going to see from Bain in this particular ball game. He's going to be all over the field making plays, knocking people around. He's fired up, ready to rock and roll. So,
Kicking game.
A lot of food's already coming in. So we got some happy people here at the Lickin'.
I hope you got the licking sauce on those wings.
Oh, what's going on?
There it is.
I like the hairstyle.
So man, the smells. I get the smells.
I know now.
I'm
not watching the clock now after I'm smelling this food.
Kicking game questions, D. That's gonna be an interesting one when if there is a field goal attempt, who trots out there? I think my guess, D, is that Carter Davis will be the kickoff specialist.
Yep, well, for sure. Kickoff for sure.
That's to me what I think it'll be there. Well, not think, like you said, probably for sure there. Field goal kicker, we'll see who trots out there.
We'll see. I mean, Carter Davis, I wouldn't sleep on his ability. He's made a lot of kicks in practice. He's got a huge leg. With Bert Auburn, more experience in these kind of games. So I actually I'm telling the truth. I don't know who's going to be the kicker because that's a battle that was ongoing later on in camp than maybe some of the other battles. But I'll tell you this, don't sleep on Carter Davis. He's got the biggest leg. Borregales is the best kicker we ever had. I don't expect anybody to be as good as Borregales this year or anytime soon. Carter Davis has a bigger leg, more physical than Borregales. He can hit longer field goals. He just has more durability and strength. Borregales would wear down over time when it came to the kickoffs and stuff. I think Carter Davis, in terms of just being a strong, big-legged kicker, he's pretty high up there. He's very talented. I'm shocked we got him as we did, given his leg talent. So we'll see if they can get more kicking out of him as far as the field goals. And obviously you still have Bert Auburn, who has experience in these games.
Andrew says, on a balcony, cafecito in hand, overlooking Biscayne Bay. Life is good, man. Let's get this W.
Yeah, feeling good vibes. Good vibes this morning, man. The licking is good. I'm seeing some finger licking already. How we doing over there? Looking pretty good? Yeah. Got the thumbs up here from our boys from Sanford, Florida.
So Ralph says you're making me hungry. Trust me, the smells are
I know.
The smells are devious for me right now.
Here we go. Let's see what good comment here from Andre Grant saying, we heard that Arch Manning was the best quarterback in college and Bama has the best secondary college and that Penn State and Clemson had the most complete teams top to bottom. I believe Miami has all those attributes. Andre, man, you got me fired up. I agree with you. I'll tell you this. I've been at practice. I've been at every practice basically until game week. I like to let the guys chill during game week. That's tight. That's a tight time period. It's wartime. So I let them go to war at that time. Watching us in camp, we're only going against each other. But it's not my first rodeo seeing these guys and seeing them across the country. Like there's no unit that I'm like, oh my goodness, man, that's just a different deal than what we're working with. I don't see that. Obviously, a Jeremiah Smith and a guy like that, those are not here. They're here in Miami Gardens, considering Jeremiah Smith grew up like a couple blocks down from where we're at right now. But I'm not going to say with a Jeremiah Smith. But most positions, man, I'm seeing the other teams. I'm like, is that offensive line one that I would trade what we got for? No. Secondary, is that secondary blowing me away based on what I saw in spring and in camp from our guys? No. Running backs, like people are like, those are people on the message board. They're like, oh man, you're overrating Jordan Lyle and Mark Fletcher because they're from South Florida. You're a homer. Well, listen, I saw Ohio State rocking with a running back from Hialeah, C.J. Donaldson, a transfer from West Virginia. And I'm not, if you ask me, and he's a good player, but if you ask me, Jordan Lyle, C.J. Donaldson, Mark Fletcher, I'm taking our guys in that scenario. And obviously both of those guys were committed to Ohio State at one point. So I'm not seeing any team that I'm looking at and like, man, they just got guys that we don't have. Like we've seen for 20 years, we've seen that. How many times did we watch Alabama or Georgia, whoever, on Saturdays? And we're like, man, we don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have that. It's just different league. I myself am not seeing that. We'll find out today. Obviously, now it's the real time to find out. But Andre, man, I agree with you. I think Miami's got a chance. If Miami plays like they played at different times during this camp, and what I've seen physically, and what people who have been around football a lot longer than me, championship coaches, have seen in camp and said in confident private, like not even just trying to fluff it up, we could leave this game with people saying, man, Miami might be the best team in the country if Miami delivers on game day and executes against a good opponent in Notre Dame. So I think that's what's in front of Miami. Now, you could also see Miami go up and lay an egg and everybody's saying, all right, same old Miami, we're moving on. Week one, both of those things could change over the course of the year. But there's a big opportunity based on what I saw on Saturday for Miami to jump to the top echelon because nobody out there is in that elite class that I'm seeing in this super team era. I mean, Ohio State, they're number one in the country. They deserve it. Their quarterback is nowhere near as talented as Carson Beck. It's not even in the same stratosphere talent-wise. Julian Sain cannot throw like Carson Beck. He's less athletic than Carson Beck, and he's smaller than Carson Beck. Those are all facts. We'll see what Julian Saint's career, like what unfolds there. But all three of those things I can tell you are true, and that's not going to change. Running backs, I think we got better running backs than Ohio State. I think we got 2 guys better than Donaldson, and he's their best running back. Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, you got to give that to them on that front. Tight end, we'll see. They got a good one in the portal. He didn't really do much. Offensive line, we're better than them. Defensive line, they look good. We got to see our guys. Linebacker, they got some good ones. Secondary, that's going to be. They've historically been good. We're going to have to show what we can do on that side of the ball. But I'm just saying, no one. I didn't see any 2020 Alabamas. I didn't see any 2019 LSU's. I didn't see any, 2013 Noles, 2009 Gators, and certainly definitely no 2001 Canes. There's no team in the near future that's going to challenge those kind of teams. Yeah, they didn't play anybody, but yeah. No, they look good.
Oregon actually probably looks sharpest out of any of these teams.
And DeCorian Moore was blocking his butt off. He's going to be a super
Dante Moore should be a good one.
Yeah.
I think he probably adds a different dimension to that offense. I think he's got some more juice than Gabriel does.
I agree.
But shout out to Ulysses, man, our boy from Closure Investigative Agency. He says, tight game today, 23-19. Jordan Lyle announces himself to the world. I think at running back, D, that's something I saw. There was not really someone at running back off the top of my head either that I was like, man, that guy is a monster.
Yeah.
Usman Kroma had one run that I was like, damn. But I don't know. Anyone else stick out to you in that respect?
Running back wise, not at all. I mean, honestly think the best ones are going to be playing today. I got to say though, I got to give a shout out right now while we're talking to my boy, the Orchid Man. Because we did the Instagram post with Trenton Breeze and all these guys. So you can pull it up here on the share screen. Is it coming up here?
It's not coming up. Let me. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
I gotta load it up. There it is. Go. So you had the Instagram, and everybody in the comments, if they weren't flaming Trenton, they were asking, "What's the Orchid Man prediction? What's Orchid Man's prediction?" So Orchid Man was out there in the comments providing his own scores. So we gotta get Orchid Man here on the graphic. But yeah, listen, the top landscape artisan in Miami, in South Florida, period, to Keys, Palm Beach, Broward, orchidmanflorida.com. Remember to check that out if you have any landscaping needs, commercial, residential, you name it, orchidmanflorida.com, the absolute best in the business.
Canes Cat's Heat is asking what the baseball scoop is from Orchid Man.
A lot of confidence, man, a lot of confidence. That's where the scoop is on the baseball side.
We got almost 1,500 on with us live. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll be going here probably for 10-15 more minutes for hour 1D, and then take a little break, and we'll be here at the Lick and hanging out, man. So remember to stop by the Miami Gardens location. You guys see the address going on the bottom of the screen. If you're listening, if you're on your way over here, 17647 Northwest 27th Ave.
Oh, I got one, Pete. Let's talk recruiting. See, you get the better graph.
Yeah,
so pull up this name right here. So we got a lot of big visitors this weekend. A lot of them I haven't really talked a lot about them because some of them we want to kind of get them over here before everybody else starts talking about it and people start paying people to not go on flights and all the normal nonsense you see with big-time players. But this one I feel confident about because he's here. He's in Miami. He's not going anywhere. He might roll by the Lick in here. I got to text him, which is Anthony Jones, defensive end, linebacker from Mobile, Alabama, 5-star player committed to Texas A&M. Somebody that would really make a huge difference here in Miami. He's going to be watching Ruben Bain, Armando Blunt. Hopefully those guys do what they got to do. But Anthony Jones, 5-star, Texas A&M commit, Mobile, Alabama, in town. He'll be at the game, and he's just one of many, but I wanted to highlight him because this was not something that was publicized. You go to these Texas A&M commit, you want those oil barons to start throwing money and then to not visit. That's how these things tend to go, but he's here, so ain't nothing they can do now. But this is a big-time player, man, someone who I think is going to be a total stud. Size, athleticism, highly productive, plays basketball, plays tight end, plays defensive end, plays linebacker, productive in all phases, even plays special teams. I'm a big Anthony Jones fan. I think he's got a hell of a football player, and he is. Someone saying he's committed to Oregon. I thought he was committed to.
No, I think they're talking about. the Oregon 5-star, the Jet Washington.
Oh yeah. Okay, no, we're talking about. This is
maybe
Anthony Jones. I believe. I thought he was committed to Texas A&M. I could be wrong, but anyway, he's committed somewhere.
Yeah, he is Oregon.
Oh, he is Oregon. All right, so I screwed up.
Yeah.
Yep, that was a surprise commit. Well, look, even better because he's from Mobile, Alabama, and he's not committed to the SEC. So open him up right there. we got an opportunity. Yeah, the comments corrected me. I'm wrong on that. Yeah, this is he is an Oregon.
Nolan Wilson here this weekend as well, right?
Potentially. Look at this, man. I'm jealous. Look at all this food coming out.
There you go, man. That's the licking at its finest.
Licking at its finest. I should have brought some buzzins. I think my wife will bring some buzzins to the pre-tailgate. That'll be right before the game, just to make sure I'm nice and calm and buzzed for that opening kickoff. So always, obviously, shout out to buzzin. We got a lot of press during that hurricane. Everybody was asking about buzzin. Drink buzzin, BUZZN. Don't forget about that. They're now in Big Daddy's Liquors. So if you're in South Florida, you know Big Daddy's Liquors. Roll up there. You can get yourself as much buzzin as you need. BUZZN.
Cognizant Card says, shout out to E-Class, man. Shout out to E-Class and the whole team here at the Licking. Today is the official grand opening. It's been kind of a soft opening the last couple of days. I was here with Brian McKinney yesterday, and the place was packed, man. So been a great start here at the Licking. Again, right down the street from the stadium. So I know a lot of you guys are, going to be headed to tailgate, but stop by here, have a drink, have a bite to eat. We already have some very satisfied customers over here. The licking sauce is serious, man. I'm telling you that thing is legit.
Comment from my dad here. He says, after yesterday's results, we have a tough early schedule facing Notre Dame, USF, Florida, FSU, Louisville, all big winners, and Notre Dame ranked number 4. That's a good point. USF was a big winner against Boise State. Obviously, we saw Florida State. Florida didn't really play anybody. Louisville didn't play anybody, but they did win. So, yeah, with USF kind of elevating, FSU elevating, we do have a tough early slate. But that's fine. More chances to win and more chances to show everybody kind of what we're about against top competition. November is typically where we faltered. So this early slate, maybe this gets us battle hardened and ready to rock and roll. We'll see.
Just got a text from someone, I'll tell you who after, but asking me how heavy my weighted vest is. So there was someone whose text I needed to see what it was there. But yeah, Sergio says you're gonna have the licking sauce on your tofu.
Absolutely, man. Well, they got collard greens here, so that's gonna be my go-to.
Oh, something with your dad's comment there, D. I think yes, we want Florida State being 2-10 every year would be phenomenal. Recruiting wise, that would be great for us. But we do have to say it's not a bad look for the ACC.
Oh, no, 100%. By the way, look at that. I'm looking here at the Dallas Cowboys, their top receiver duos. Look at 1995, Michael Irvin, Kevin Williams, University of Miami. They're comparing like all the top receiver duos to what they got now. Michael Irvin, Kevin Williams. Shout out to those guys. Kevin Williams, my first favorite player, that number 5. I remember in our class, it was 1991, so I must have been 6 years old. I drew a picture of Kevin Williams returning a kick or a punt. I forgot what it was, kickoff or punt against Penn State. And I drew it in our class. So shout out to Kevin Williams, just watching on this Dallas Cowboys game on the TV. Number 5, man. If you're old enough to remember Kevin Williams, he's one of the most dynamic players we ever had. Could use one of those from Malachi Toney or Keelan Marion tonight. That would work.
Golden Child, appreciate your support. Do you feel that JoJo will get a lot of snaps today, or will they work him back slowly? Look, he's been ready to go, been good to go from what we understand. Obviously, missed a portion of practice there, but I just think if you don't see him as much as maybe you would expect, I don't think it's a health thing. I think it's maybe is not as caught up to speed in terms of relationship with Carson Beck as some of the others, but that's speculation. Okay,
I think we're gonna see him, and I think we're gonna see him do some work, but I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. But he's a dynamic player, and I know Bagging Up is in the comments always saying we need explosive plays. He's somebody that can give you those explosive plays. So I feel good about him, but we'll find out. Freak Factor Card saying, D, can our safeties tackle? We'll find out. One thing I'll caution everybody on, and this is something we like last year. Jaden Harris, I thought Jaden Harris was going to tackle well during just from watching him at camp. He's fast, he's physical. He was not scared or anything. But then you saw over the course of the year the lack of confidence, thinking too much, not breaking down in space, and then the poor tackling kind of manifested over the course of the year. In camp, there's only so much you can see because you're not allowed to tackle these guys to the ground aside from a couple scrimmages for health reasons, for a million things. So you really don't know, right? I'll tell you this. Zechariah Poyser, you watch his film against Jacksonville State, he did tackle, right? He did tackle, and he's a big guy. Seeing him in person, he's a big guy, athletic, tough. I think he will tackle at a high level. I think he's going to be a really, really good safety for us. We'll find out. But he did tackle at Jacksonville State. Jacoby Thomas, Tennessee. That's what he's known for, busting heads. I mean, he is like their supercharged Amari Carter, knockout artist. So he's out there to tackle and hit people. We'll find out. Bryce Fitzgerald, we talked about. That's the big question with him. If Bryce Fitzgerald can tackle, he's going to be one of the best players we've had in secondary in years. He is an elite athlete, elite playmaker. We'll find that out. So far, so good in camp, but that's why they play football games and pads taking you to the ground. We're going to learn kind of who's who and what's what. It's hard to know too much about that just from camp.
818 Callie Kane with a good question here asking us, will Beck go over under 250 yards and 2 touchdowns? It's a good number.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we're running for a lot of yards too, but I think yes.
I just, seeing how these games played out, don't know how – I don't know how explosive they're going to be or non-explosive. We got some more Canes fans rolling in here at the Licking. And again, guys, we'll be – if you guys are headed over here to the Licking, we're back here in the VIP section right now. We will be headed out to the main part of the restaurant as well.
By the way, introduce yourself. Where are you guys from?
Ryan Smith Jr. from Jupiter, Florida.
Smith and Ryan Smith Jr. from Jupiter, Florida. Let's go.
Got some good golf up there in Jupiter.
Palm Beach, baby. Stand up. So yeah, as far as that 250 yards passing, we're gonna throw the ball, I think, pretty good because they're gonna let us throw the ball. They're gonna try to stop the run. So they're gonna give Carson Beck opportunities. So I do see opportunities to get yards passing the ball because they're gonna give it to us. Not obviously they're gonna count on their defensive backs to overwhelm our receivers who are inexperienced or coming in from a different school like CJ Daniels, Keelan Murray, and all those guys. So they're gonna. If I'm them, I'm thinking what they're going to do is they're going to trust those guys to cover our receivers, and they're going to try to stop the run. So that's going to give Carson Beck an opportunity to throw the ball. So I could see us going over simply because that's the way I think Notre Dame's going to play us.
You think? I'm going under, man. I'm going under, and that's not an indictment on how I think the game plays out. I'm looking at some of these numbers, and I know it's not apples to apples, but I'm looking at some of the numbers from QBs yesterday, and even Gunner, they stopped throwing the ball, but Gunner Stockton 190 against Marshall. Dante, some of these guys, you can't do it, but Ty Simpson threw the ball 43 times, 254. That's gonna be close. Levitt with 257. That's the number, though. All of these QBs are around 250.
Well, I'll just remind people, in the beginning of the year last year, you can watch the tape, teams stacked the box against Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick, best quarterback in the country by a mile. They still stacked the box early in the year because they were worried about our running game. You can go watch the film from earlier in the year. So our running game is something you got to really take out of the game, or else it can overwhelm you with just the constant pounding. Notre Dame, I'm sure they have faith in their run defense, but their defensive line is not the most talent-laden. That's not the best unit on their defense. It's not the best unit on their team. So I could see them just saying, all right, we're going to take away the run. Carson Beck can beat us, but we don't think these receivers can beat us because they're young or whatever. So we're going to trust our Leonard Moore, our good corners, our good safeties, our good scheme, and we'll let Carson Beck try to beat us. That's what I think they're going to do. But I think Carson Beck could beat them because I think, number one, he's an experienced quarterback. That's going to be a first-round player. I think he's going to have a lot of time given the offensive line ability that we have and experience that we have there. And I think our receivers are going to surprise people. But I'm Notre Dame. I'd rather have that than just getting bludgeoned by Mark Fletcher and Jordan Lyle and an offensive line that is going to be moving people. So if I'm playing Miami, that would be my strategy, but I'm not saying it'll work because receivers are going to have an opportunity to make plays and show what they can do.
Eric Frias says, I think Keelan Marion takes one to the house. Man, obviously everyone wants that pick 6 moment that we had in 2017. I think, could it be a special teams play that ignites it?
Could be, man. It could be. He's All-American for a reason. Plus, he's played good at receiver as well. Don't sleep on him as a receiver. I think if you compare him to Sam Brown, who I think is similarly situated to how he was Sam Brown last year to how Marion is this year as a receiver, I like Marion in that comparison. Just I think he plays harder, more physical, just more urgency in his style of play for my preferences. Lee Mong Landscapes, big love and big respect from out here in Western Lake Worth, originally out of Perrine, Florida. Let's go Canes. Shout out, man.
Man, we're coming up on an hour here. So we'll be wrapping up in the next few minutes here. This hour 1 of the Miami-Notre Dame pregame show live from the Lick, and we got almost 1,700 on with us live. So, when we wrap things up here, we'll be back. I mean, we'll give you guys I'll give a tweet when we got like a 5-minute warning when we'll be headed back on. So you guys will know where to find us here on the YouTube page. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, obviously streaming on X. So,
Oh, snap, it's Mike. He says, let's go. I got some of that buzzing stuff for you, D. Come down. My guy. Appreciate you. Also appreciate the Miami Hurricane team store. Remember, it's orange out today, so we got a lot of folks wearing orange. If you haven't gotten your orange stuff yet, swing by the Miami Hurricane team store right across the street from the University of Miami. They got all the orange stuff right there, meant to get people dressed in orange for the game, so they got you covered. And if you just want to order
my
some
parents
stuff,
went there yesterday, and my mom called me after telling me how blown away she was because she hadn't been there. So she and this is, obviously she's a Cane also, but she was there for the shop. She was more in awe of the shopping experience in itself.
it's great customer service, MiamiHTS.com. Promo code INSIGHT20. All right, Pete, we got to eat. Yes, let's hang out. We're at the Lickin'. We're here really until a few hours before the game, and then we'll go across the street. We're right there, about 5 minutes from the stadium. So again, the Lickin'. Pete, give the address.
17647 Northwest 27th Ave. Again, down the street from Hard Rock Stadium. So we'll be back here in a bit with you guys again. You guys will see the notification pop up. Hour 2 coming at you soon, but wrapping up hour 1 here at the Lickin'. Go Canes.